From Wall Street to Main Street, this is Lalate.
It's a big evening on Evenings Lalate with a world exclusive delivered last night from Lalate News, now in its second decade of reporting, on your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. Congressional staffers from both the House and Senate side tell viewers of this channel exclusively that negotiations are near complete on the insertion of a stimulus check into the $3.5 trillion reconciliation budget bill. They staffers tell viewers of this channel that there will be multiple months of stimulus checks, and that staffers now indicate that the price tag they're looking at the moment is about $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter, running for 6 months. A world exclusive you're only going to hear on this channel because viewers have been advocating for stimulus checks on this channel like no place else across the globe. And now the Democratic senators and House members say they're putting it in there. In this recording, we'll go over the first 645 pages of the reconciliation budget bill released. And there's checks for hazard pay, checks for seniors, checks for workers. Biggest checks we've ever seen in the history of this channel, including $51,000 of MSCs. Then we'll be cutting to cluster number 2, more checks, including checks to fix your home, checks for college students, and also checks for seniors. We'll go to the third cluster, and more checks across the board, including the checks the president wants in there as well. We'll be cutting into the big surprising details and the world exclusive on this channel, with another $107 billion now allocated for you because of cluster number 3's removal of a different provision. We'll be cutting back to the $13 billion landing in your cities and counties and states for rent and more. It's a big night with a lot of world exclusives. You haven't seen anything like this before. And this is an exciting evening, starting right now, of Evenings Lalate. I hope you're having a beautiful day where you are. Jump in the live chat and tell me how the weather is where you are. Live in Santa Monica all throughout the day and now tape with you. The weather has warmed up here in Santa Monica, California, but guess what? It's really heating up online as LA News, the news site from nearly 3 decades of reporting, delivered the world exclusive last night. LA News reporting that negotiations are near complete on the insertion of a stimulus check provision into the $3.5 trillion reconciliation budget bill for the Democrats. That Democrats are looking right now at finalizing a monthly stimulus check provision. And the Democrats are looking currently at doing a deal that would amount to $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter over 6 months. Staffers from all different paths of both the House and Senate confirm these details to viewers of this channel. I'll go over all the staffers' comments to viewers of this channel happening late today. This is details you haven't seen anywhere else. You won't see them anywhere else. These are world exclusives only on LA. We'll be cutting into the first 645 pages of that reconciliation budget bill and the big money that is available for you, including hazard pay, money for seniors, money for workers, cluster number 2, checks that are going to give people a lot of money, including money for paid sick leave and family leave. Then we got to cluster number 3, money for seniors like dental, vision, and more. And then even free internet. We'll be cutting it to the big surprise and a world exclusive again with another $107 billion I have located that will be reallocated under the third cluster because the Senate parliamentarian says it can't go somewhere else. Then another world exclusive, I'll be reporting that the House will likely vote first, in the process, the Senate second, and then finally, the $13 billion coming to your cities, counties, and states from the federal government. It's a big recording. It's a big night, and this is LA, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, broadcasting world exclusives on the hour, by the hour. I want you part of this incredible family, and you have never seen advocacy like this until tonight. Subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. This channel makes progress, makes things happen, and changes things for the better. Be part of this incredible family right today. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Let's cut into the world exclusive details starting right now. Delivered late last night on Lalate, the news site. The world exclusive is that staffers from both House and Senate Democrats confirmed the following details to viewers of this channel over and over and over again. Number one, negotiations are near complete on the insertion of a stimulus check provision into the $3.5 trillion reconciliation budget bill. Number two, that provision will look like a monthly stimulus check provision. Number three, that the negotiations are not yet finalized, but they're looking at the following payouts. $2,000 the first month, then $1,000 thereafter, running for 6 months. How do we get to this wonderful spot? We got to this wonderful spot no less than 8 weeks ago when I said advocate. And WR, one of the first viewers to advocate, did so. Picked up the phone and called Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, Joe Biden's old confidant, and advocated for a stimulus check to his staffer. And Senator Chris Coons' staffer confirmed to WR, longtime viewer of this channel, he's doing a monthly stimulus check. 3 weeks ago, we did it again. When Brother Joshua, a longtime viewer and volunteer to the community page of 2020, picked up the phone and pushed, advocated for a stimulus check to Senator Bernie Sanders' staff. And his staff said, yes, I agree. Senator Sanders, in fact, is doing a monthly stimulus check. $1,000 to $1,400, said the conversation, 3 to 6 months, but needs to hear your support. And at that point, the floodgates opened. I told viewers to really pick up the phone and start advocating. Pick up the phone and advocate and say everything you need. And it started with Dottie, who picked up the phone and called Bernie Sanders' office and said, I need this. This is what I need. My family needs it. I need everything. I need to pay my water bill. And Sanders' office saying, yes, he's doing an MSC. Hurricane Tina, who's in our shows in the live chat every night, called up Sanders' office right away, advocated, and they said yes. Carolyn, who's often in the Morning's Countdown show, wrote this in Morning's Countdown 2 days ago. Advocating, say people are losing their homes. They need this. They're losing everything they got. And Bernie Sanders' office confirming, yes, he's putting an MSC provision in there, monthly stimulus check. Lori Silver advocating, and Sanders' office confirming the same again. Yaya calling Wyden's office, advocating as well. Wyden is one of the senators who wrote in writing early this summer that he's doing an MSC. Wyden's office confirming the same to Yaya, but also saying he'll consider doing SS200, and then will, taking it to another level. Picking up the phone and calling 3 senators in the same day. Warren, Sanders, and Schumer, all 3's staffs confirming they are inserting an MSC provision into the recon bill. Elizabeth Warren's conversation was the most fascinating one with the staff. Will, in the conversation with Elizabeth Warren's staff, got indication that Warren absolutely is doing an MSC, and that she is proposing $1,400 to $2,000, 6 to 12 months. But it was with Lorica that my eyes really popped out, because during her conversation with Bob Casey's office, Senator Bob Casey, Democrat, his staffer said that he's already proposing a stimulus check, and they're already negotiating the final language. By the end of the week, I was telling viewers, pick up the phone and advocate among the House Democrats, AOC, Jayalapal, Nancy, and of course, Omar. And Paul did. He called up AOC's office, advocated why he needs a stimulus check, and AOC's office saying yes. AOC will be doing $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter, over 12 months, and will absolutely be putting in the bill. Jayalapal's office confirming the same to viewer Janice. By the weekend, we had Coons, Warren, Sanders, Schumer, Casey, and Wyden, all Democratic senators, confirming in separate conversations to multiple viewers of this channel that they are inserting a MSC, monthly stimulus check provision, into the reconciliation budget bill. By the end of the week, we had AOC and Jayalapal's office confirming the same. But what happened today and Monday was overwhelming. Viewers like this one and this one advocating to a level we've never seen before. Margaret saying, I picked up the phone, and during that conversation with that staffer for the senator, we just broke down and cried. This viewer, whose name I'm withholding to protect her identity, said that her husband had left her in a very bad situation. She had to raise 2 children by herself, is raising 2 children by herself, after enduring 10 surgeries during the pandemic. And she's on SSI and SSDI. It's not enough money. She cried on the phone, and the staffer said, yes, MSC. But if you met Mark in the videos of this channel, you now met Mark in another light, because Mark picked up the phone and advocated to Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House's office. And Speaker Pelosi's office confirmed to Mark in a conversation, a staffer conversation to Mark yesterday, that Speaker Pelosi will be proposing legislation where the first check is $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter, up to around 6 to 12 months, and that negotiations are near complete. And there you go. Negotiations near complete, monthly, deal provisions, world exclusive. This is what advocacy gets you. This is what we do. This channel got Americans their second stimulus check by inserting it in the CR. Came up with my idea. I said CR for stimulus, and now you're doing as well. Later in this video, I'll go more over this in a second. But first, let's cut to the first 645 pages of that reconciliation budget bill. There is 645 pages of checks in there as well. I'm going to go over those checks, then I go to cluster number two's checks. Those cluster number two's checks has a lot of checks, including $1,700 for paid family leave. Then cluster number three, checks for seniors and workers. My goodness. But let's first start with the first 645 pages of that reconciliation budget bill. Checks for hazard pay, checks for seniors, checks for children, $4,000 a year to care for them, $51,000 a year for $51,000 over 18 years if you have a child, money for a bike, money for a car, money to repair your home, and then money for college students and more. Let's go over all the incredible details, starting with the first introductory remark. Everything in the recon is not pandemic related. So you do not have to have endured anything pandemic related to be eligible. And the first one is huge. It's hazard pay. Essential workers, lifetime. Yes, this channel has been the vortex of hazard pay advocacy since 2020 with nearly 300 videos. But we got it in the third stimulus, a provision that took the following steps. First, they took the earned income tax credit in the old tax code and modified it, so more people will be eligible for hazard pay for essential workers by broadening the eligibility and then taking the amount of payout and increasing it. But third stimulus was not a lifetime benefit. Now they're making it a lifetime under fourth stimulus. This is huge. So for every year that you're an essential worker, hazard pay, you qualify for this earned income tax credit, you would get it every year in the zone of eligibility. Wow. The second check, a total surprise, came from Representative Richard Neal, head of Ways and Means Committee. No one saw this one happening. Up to $4,000 a year if you care for an elderly person. This is huge, especially if you're a care provider. This may be you. And then on the flip side, they're doing the same thing if you care for a young child. Then, what about students' money? Yes, grants for college students. They're going to make a Pell's grant tax-free. They're also going to have new grants for college students directly to them or to the universities. And then what about money to fix your home? Oh, yes, it's in there as well. If you live in a low-income community, the federal government will give you money to fix the home. Then comes the big surprise, $51,000 of monthly stimulus checks. If you're a parent of a child in a low-income family household, and that child has just been born, you will now get upwards of $300 a month every month for every year that situation continues, up to 18 years, which will be $51,000 approximately per child. Wow. Then what about money for a bike, car, or truck? They got that in there as well. If you want to buy a new electric bike, the federal government pick up the price tag up to 15% of the price tag of the bike. What about the vehicle? Yes, if you want to buy a new electric vehicle for personal use, the federal government will pick up the price tag to up to $7,500 for that electric vehicle. What about electric vehicle for business use or an electric truck for business use? Yes, the federal government will give you a check for that as well, a little bit more than $7,500. And there you go. That's the first 645 pages of what could be upwards of an 8,000 page budget bill. But boy, we got two other clusters. The second cluster are checks coming directly to you, 12 checks, and some of them are really large. These checks are provisions that the Democrats talk in, day in, day out about, but they're still going over the language, so it's not finally written. The third cluster of checks are checks that are coming from the federal government that the president specifically wants in this recon. Really deliciousness. But first, let's get a preview of something that I did not see coming. $13 billion not coming. Wow. Department of Treasury late last week announced that $13 billion of additional sums of monies are going out to every city, county, and state for rent, utility, food, and internet replenishing of this money. This is part of the third stimulus. And Treasury made the announcement about there's more money for rent and utilities and mortgage assistance. Treasury is happy to provide the state and local governments with these additional resources to provide Americans in need of rental assistance. I'll be going over more about that a little bit. But let's get back to that first 645 pages of that recon bill. What is that? How do they get to it? When is it done? The first 645 pages is the result of negotiations among Democrats, House and Senate behind closed doors. Not on TV, not on C-SPAN, not on TikTok. What they do is they go to their offices, they have a cup of coffee, they call on the phone and say, what do you think about this? I like it. Go write it up. $4,000 a year to care for the elderly? I like it. 15% for the bike? I like it. Go write it up. And these are the first 645 pages. They said, go write it up. Now, the cluster number 2 are checks that they want to do. They said they want to do it. They haven't written them up because they like them, but they haven't gone over the final wording of the calculations. Let's go to those cluster number 2 checks starting right now. Expansion of paid family and medical leave. What is that? Well, paid family leave is if you have to stay home because your wife is pregnant. Paid medical leave, you have to stay home because your child broke his leg. Then checks for more child care programs. Then checks for expansion of the household tax credit. Then come checks for weatherizing your home. I like that, especially if they're Purple Hawks above the roof. What is weatherizing your home? If you're in a hurricane area, fire-prone area, the federal government give you checks to weatherize the home. Those are the second set of checks in this recon for your home. Well, there's also checks for seniors, and some of these appear in the third cluster. Checks for dental, checks for vision, checks for hearing, and checks for lowering the eligibility age for Medicare. Then comes some checks for education, some more checks for education. First one, free pre-kindergarten nationwide, totally free. Then tuition-free community college for everyone, nationwide. This is huge, especially for that viewer that always says, I don't understand LA. He just has a very strange accent. They must talk weird in LA. I just don't understand what he's saying. Can someone translate it for me? Now you can take the very popular community college class called What the World is LA Saying? 101. Be fluent in LA language. Pardon my French. And there you go. Then checks for green energy and more. Wow, that is cluster number 2. Coming up in a second is cluster number 3 with a big surprise and a world exclusive on that one. An additional $107 billion. Oh, yes. But first, where are the House and Senate members? They are back in town. The House and Senate members are back in session this week. But guess what? They were in town last week. They were in town the week before. The fact that they're in session means nothing to us, and you know why. Because the way they negotiate is not on the House floor, not on the Senate floor. They negotiate in subcommittee meetings, over a cup of coffee, in the Senate ball dining room. They talk about the provision, say, what do you like? And once they agree upon it, then they move on, and then they write the next set of items. All right, time for cluster number 3. I'm really excited about this one with another world exclusive. Oh boy, $107 billion found by this channel. Yes. Free school meals for all checks in cluster number 3. These are the checks the president wants in there. Checks for cheaper prescription medication. Checks for free internet. Checks for farmers. Checks for clean energy, checks for workers like independent contractors, checks for dental, hearing, vision, checks for lowering eligibility age for seniors. More about those checks in the third cluster, but here's a world exclusive. Late on Friday, buried in a news article, was a report that the Senate parliamentarian ruled that one of the checks in the third cluster, which I never cover on this channel because it doesn't concern you, does not belong in there and cannot belong in there. So what did I do? I went back through my old notes to look and see how much that check was worth. And my notes revealed that that check based upon Democrats was indicated as valued at $107 to $9 billion dedicated to what would have been to Department of Judiciary. Now that the Senate parliamentarian has ruled that $107 billion cannot be used for Department of Treasury, Judiciary, it can be used for you. This is huge. 2 of the checks in this third cluster also are automatic. Let's go over the details. And the president loves it. I love it. The first one is free internet. The federal government is going to give money to the local cities and counties so they can offer you free internet. They're going to open their own free internet company and then just give you the username and password when you identify yourself as a resident. Then, cheaper prescription medication. Wow, this is huge. How would this work? Here's an example. You go in the pharmacy on Monday to fill a prescription. You take 2 $20 bills out of your wallet to pay for it. This becomes law, slashes the prices between the preferred rate of the federal government and the pharmaceutical companies. So when you go back in to refill a week later, you may only have to pull out one $20 bill from your wallet as well. Wow. Can we top that? Yes. In the second half of this recording after the commercial break, we will be going over the big money that is now set for that MSC push to the finish line. We'll be going over each of the Senate and House members' offices' statements. Stay to the very end because there's a lot coming up in this final 15 minutes. We'll be going over Senate after Senate and House after House's offices. We'll be cutting then to third stimulus. And the big surprise as third stimulus has an additional $13 billion for you. And I'm going to show you how you get this big sum of money in the second half of this video. We'll be cutting also to the big exciting details of this stimulus. And then finally, another world exclusive, as the vote is set, but which side is going first? I got all these world exclusives for you coming up after the commercial break. Stay with me, stay to the final 15 minutes, and I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues right now on Evenings LA, direct from Santa Monica, California, as we go over the final 15 minutes of this video. And boy, it's getting exciting because guess what? The Democrats, both House and Senate, say they want to put an MSC in there. I'll go over all the incredible details of their comments to viewers of this channel. Then we cut to the big money for fifth stimulus. We'll cut to the vote for the fourth stimulus. And we'll also go over why your advocacy has worked, but you need to keep on pushing. And who are the Democrats that you need to push with? And then we have the big surprise. As $13 billion is coming for your cities and counties, states for you for rent. Wow. It's a big evening, and this is Lalate. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. The link is under the video. And also sign up for those Lalate alerts. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto, then shows at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11:30. Let's cut to the big surprise as an additional $13 billion that no one saw coming is coming. That $13 billion is landing in every single state, city, and county across the country for rent. Department of Treasury found an additional $13 billion that had not been sent out under third stimulus, and they're sending it out. This is huge. I'm going to show you that the money for rent has suddenly doubled. The money for utilities has tripled, and the SNAP has nearly gone up 400%, and that is in just a month. Let's look at the money for rent. Late last week, we met Jen. She got nearly $40,000 of rent, and she's not an anomaly because we've had a lot of viewers get over $35,000 of rent in the last week. Look at that growth. Nisi Purple Hawk, Elizabeth Purple Hawk. If you're not a Purple Hawk, make sure you join right today. Become a member. Then when we look at utilities, Mark's brother-in-law, he got $15,000 for utilities. What a growth. 300% growth in just a month. When we look at SNAP, money for food, the growth has been astronomical from $5,000 to now $21,000 for Mark's brother-in-law. Get a pen, paper, and cell phone ready because now tonight is your opportunity to get money and more money if you got money before. We're going to get some rent, utility, mortgage assistance, homeowners assistance, and more starting right now. First, I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to. You reach out to all 6. If one says no, reach out to the next. They have different eligibility, they have different pots of money. Listen to the keywords I say in this video, and I have a surprise for other places to get the money. All right, here are the 6 places you reach out to. City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. Let's go over those 6 places again. City Hall, City Housing Authority, County Hall, County Housing Authority, State Hall, and State Housing Authority. Now, this is what's critical, is that if you're a member of this channel, on the nightly newsletter that comes to you written by me for members, I'm adding in there the $13 billion allocation from Treasury announcement, the official Treasury announcement, because it's important for you to call up and ask to get ready to pounce for that money. Number 1, if you got money for rent before, get more months of rent. If you never got money before because they were out of money, they will have money. Every state, every county, whether it's Republican or Democrat, will have it. Call them up and say, I want to be first in line. Put me on the waiting list. If you don't have a waiting list, can I call you tomorrow? Can I check and see what day you have it? It reminds me of Kevin Lee, a longtime viewer of this channel, 2020. He got rent from Dallas in the thick of the pandemic. It opened on one day. He got it. Within 3 days, it was closed. You don't want to wait around. Then, utilities. Reach out to all the different utilities. So if you have 5 utility companies, reach out to all 5. Finally, the nonprofits. Wow, what a success story. And what a great surprise. The nonprofits paid viewers a fortune for rent and utilities, food, other items in fall 2020 and early 2021 in a show on this channel called Purple. But I didn't know if they were still paying. So about a week ago, I brought them back in the mix and started covering them. And boy, are they paying. One viewer within 24 hours said, thank you for mentioning them. I reached out to United Way. I immediately was told no one's contacted them recently for rent. I'm first in line for the list. They think I'm going to get it. Another viewer the next day said, I got it immediately for that nonprofit. Then one viewer said, this nonprofit helped got me a brand new furnace, refrigerator, and fixed my window. Here are the 5 nonprofits. They all do things differently. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul. What's big and important to remember for the nonprofits is that they're not the federal government, so they do not have the same eligibility guidelines. You don't have to necessarily be behind on your rent. And they do more things. They not only do rent, utilities, food, they also do mortgage. They also do homelessness into shelters, money for gifts, money for food, sometimes household belongings that you may need assistance with. They are absolutely incredible. Here again on the nonprofits, and they're featured daily in the newsletter to members of this channel. Hope you're a member as well. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, St. Vincent de Paul. Let's turn to SNAP. SNAP is incredible. It is absolutely wonderful. You get it from the Department of Agriculture. It pays money for your food. Mark's brother-in-law got $21,000, but is now sitting on top of $26,000. Lynn Glenn got it for herself. Her son and her mom, Gail, got it as well. Department of Agriculture is raising everyone's benefits up a lifetime, an average of 25%, starting in October. So yes, Mark's brother-in-law is sitting on top of $26,000. Now, some people have gotten very confused because there's 2 letters going out. The first letter says, hi, we're reducing your benefits because the 2 executive orders are over that raised your benefits. But there's a second letter that's coming behind that says, hi, now your benefits are going up a lifetime, an average of 25%. So watch for that second letter. Then those unemployment benefits. If you got overpaid unemployment benefits from your state due to computer error, well, guess what? It's coming back. Average payment is about $2,000 to $5,000. Reach out to your state for tracking time. And finally, the refund check from IRS that you paid taxes on the 2020 unemployment benefits for. Boy, this is a lot of great money. Anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000. Margaret got it, Cog got it, Michael got it. Go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. 70% of the time, it will reveal the tracking time for that check. If you got any of the sums of money from this channel, post it in the live chat, because when you do, you inspire people to pick up the phone. And if you've not become a member, what are you doing? The link is under the video. Join today. By becoming a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP, you receive daily from me the new upgraded newsletter. The newsletter now includes the details about the nonprofits. It also includes the link to the new Treasury announcement of the $13 billion. Viewers who are members are getting massive sums of money from this channel. Mark, $51,000. Johnny, $80,000. Lorraine, $105,000. Jen, $40,000 just on rent. People are getting massive sums of money. What I want you to do is the following. If you've got the money before, I want you to get more months into the future. I want you to go as far into the future as you can for these sums of money. If the place that paid you before is out of money, go to another place and get other sums of money. I want you to get all these big sums of money because we're getting ready for fourth stimulus as well. And with that, let's go into the final 15 minutes of this video. Thank you for the stage of the final 15 minutes. We start with the details starting right now with that reconciliation budget bill. It was 8 weeks ago that Senator Chris Coons told WR, or staffer told WR, that Senator Chris Coons will be putting a monthly stimulus check in the reconciliation budget bill. It was a huge accomplishment and a world exclusive at the time, at a time in which 8 weeks ago, there were a lot of naysayers. I haven't heard, I don't know if I believe. And I said advocate, and WR did. He picked up the phone and advocated. So Senator Chris Coons, Democrat, Delaware, Joe Biden's old confidant, for a stimulus check. I need it because of this, because of my family, because of this, because of my community. I need it. And WR advocated. As he said in one of the recent chats, as one person said, I'm praying, he said, prayer's good. Advocacy is better. Pick up the phone and advocate. Over the next weeks that followed, I told viewers that the House will likely write the budget bill because they have a House Budget Committee. But there's also a Senate Budget Committee, and the chairman is Bernie Sanders. Critical because he's the guy who got the $3.5 trillion price tag. He singularly got that price tag. And I said it's important to focus on his words. And 3 weeks ago, he said those magic words. He said, unlike other prior budget chairmen, I like to get amongst the people and hear what they got to say. That means he wants you to advocate for what you think should be in the budget bill. And so he hears it. And I said, pick up the phone and advocate. Advocate to Bernie Sanders what you think should be in that recon. Margaret called, Ling Glenn called, and Brother Joshua volunteered for the community page of 2020. Longtime viewer and Purple Hawk and was in most of the chats this morning. Did the same. He picked up the phone and advocated to Bernie Sanders' staffer, saying why I need it for my family. Now let's go over what advocacy is, because for the first time tonight on Evenings Lalate, you're going to see what advocacy really looks like. Advocacy involves telling why you need something. I need a stimulus check because this is what's happened to my family. This is what happened to my church. My church really needs it. I got to tell you what's happening in my town and this, my community. I got to tell you what's going on with that item and this item. Because staffers are there to advocate. And when you advocate to them, it's a match made in heaven. But let me show you a level of advocacy you may not have seen before. Here's Margaret. This is new tonight on Evenings LA. Honestly, I and the woman on the phone in the Senate's office started crying when I explained everything that the girls and I have been going through. Margaret explained how important it was for recon check for her, stimulus check, because of what her and her daughters had gone through. Another viewer whose name I'm withholding really went over and above for people of America. She explained what happened to her husband that had died. She explained how she has, during this pandemic, endured 10 surgeries and still has been able to put food on the table for her 2 teenage daughters, even though she is on SSDI and it doesn't pay enough. That is advocacy like its core. And that's what Brother Joshua did. Picked up the phone and advocated to Bernie Sanders' staffer, saying, I need it, my church needs it, my family needs it. And Bernie Sanders' staff said yes. Bernie Sanders will be putting a monthly stimulus check in there. $1,000 or $1,400, 3 to 6 months, but needs to hear from you that you want it. And that was Purple Power's call to action. And it changed everything for this channel and for you. It started with Donnie, who really picked up the phone and advocated beautifully. He picked up the phone and said, listen, I need it. My city needs it. I need to progress. I need to secure my water. I told that to Bernie Sanders' secretary. Everything I told her, and she said, okay, I'm putting a fourth stimulus check in there. Then Hurricane Tina picked up the phone and advocated vigorously to Bernie Sanders' staff. They said, yes, we're putting a stimulus check in there. It didn't stop there. Carolyn on Countdown LA revealed she really advocated beautifully. I told her, we need help out here. People are losing their homes. Come on already. They're losing what they got. And she said she agrees. Bernie's putting a fourth stimulus check in there. Then people advocating on behalf of other people, which is wonderful. Lori said, I put a big Purple Power push vote in there with Bernie Sanders' office, calling on behalf of Purple Power, saying what we need, and they say they're working to get us the money. And then Yaya picking up the phone and calling Ron Wyden's office and saying we need a stimulus check, and his staff are saying, yes, he's even proposing to do it with SS200. But Will took it to another level. Will understood that it shouldn't just be one phone call. It should be as many phone calls as you can make. That's what Will did. I spent the day calling around. I called Senator Bernie Sanders' office. I called Elizabeth Warren's office. I called Chuck Schumer's office. And all three senators' offices confirmed they're doing an MSC. I explained my situation. I advocated and how a forced stimulus check would make a huge impact. And I was told, yes, it's happening. Elizabeth Warren's office asked me what kind of check I thought was sufficient. I explained I like the American petition. And Elizabeth Warren's office said they're on board for that. They said Senator Warren will be considering and proposing a $1,400 to $2,000 6 to 12 month stimulus check. There you go. But it was Lorica's comment that really made my eyes wake up, because she said in this message that she contacted Senator Bob Casey, advocated for a stimulus check, advocated for a lot more money for the elderly and disabled, and he's on the Committee for Aging. And Senator Casey's office not only said that he's doing an MSC, but that they're in negotiations over the amount of the stimulus checks right now. Well, there you go. And then by the end of last week, I said, okay, so we have the senators, Warren, Wyden, Sanders, Schumer, Coons, and Casey. Now time to focus on the House. And I want to see more viewers focusing on the House as well. So please, in your advocacy tomorrow, focus on the House. Omar, please call Omar, Jalapal, AOC, and Pelosi, and advocate for a stimulus check. I said that late last week, and then viewers started doing it. Paul started doing that with AOC, picked up the phone and advocated for it, and AOC's office told Paul that, yes, she is putting it in there. $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. The staffer assured me that AOC will be putting in $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter, running for 12 months. Janice called Jayalapal's office and did the same, as I've been saying, also contact House members, and Jayalapal's office said, yes, they're doing it. There you go. That's what advocacy gets. Senators, Chris Coons, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, and Wyden. And then I said to pick up the phone and call AOC and Jayalapal. Also call Omar. Late yesterday, this came in from Mark. That's $51,000 Mark, the guy who helped his brother get those big sums of money early in this video. I called Nancy Pelosi's office, says Mark, and I advocate for one. And Pelosi's office says that they're doing one now. That would be $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter, for 6 to 12 months, and they're almost done negotiating it. And there you go. Staffers from congressional leaders of both the House and Senate confirm exclusively to this channel over and over again. Different staffers, different viewers, but the same conversation. The negotiations are near complete for the insertion of a stimulus check in the reconciliation budget bill. That it will be monthly, and that the duration and the amounts that they're currently looking at is $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter, for about 6 months. A world exclusive, because advocacy works. And advocacy gets you what you need. And that's what you need to do. Advocacy starts by explaining why your situation is important. And that is what you need to remember, because these staffers that pick up the phone, they don't see you. They don't know you. They don't know your town. They may never even heard of your town. But they can all feel emotions. Elected officials are elected to advocate for you. And if you're advocating with them, it's a match made in heaven. Now, here's not advocacy. Advocacy is treating someone on the other side of the phone like a UPS tracking tool or an IRS tracking tool or a FedEx tracking tool. When, where, is, isn't it, will it, won't it? No. No one likes to be treated like that. They want to hear advocacy because they can emotionally relate to it. And I personally want to thank the two viewers, Margaret, who cried with the staffer on the phone, and the other viewer whose name I'm withholding, who absolutely poured out her entire life story, including the loss of her husband and the raising of her two teenage daughters while beyond SSI and SSDI, and after having 10 surgeries during the pandemic. She is fighting not just for her children and herself, but she's also fighting for you. So I applaud her. Now, more world exclusives, starting with the vote. Which side would vote first? I'm exclusively reporting that the House will vote first. It was no less than 2 months ago where I exclusively reported that the House would be the authors of the bill. We now know my reporting was correct. The House is writing the bill. Well, will the House vote first? I've been reporting that as well. This is huge for two regards because it really helps you. Number one, if the House votes first, and that means the opportunity for Jayalapal, AOC, Pelosi, and Omar to get it right is upon them. If they get it right, we're in a good situation because they're going first. I also like the senators going second or last in this case because as a backup, because we have Warren, Wyden, Sanders, Schumer, Casey, and Coons all saying they're doing it. How would that happen? The senators, if they go last, they have a 2-day vote-a-rama. At that opportunity, they have the ability to remove or add anything into, or they have the ability to modify or add anything to that recon. They're not going to remove anything a fellow Democrat wrote, but they can increase the amount or add something in there. Huge and great for them to go last. Let's cut to FIS stimulus just for a second. FIS stimulus raise your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, and Veterans benefits. That benefits lift would happen in about December. They're starting to draft this now. This would go to a vote later. This is a different stimulus package. This would be to a vote about November. They'll remove the asset cap, remove the income cap, remove the marriage penalty, tie your benefits to inflation. I've been saying it's going to go to about 5%. That means if it's up at 5%, you'll go up another 5% for your benefits, not just next year, but lifetime. What a big night it has been. And let's go over a broad recap of where we are, because I know that is a lot in one video. The recap is we have third stimulus, which is sending out a new $13 billion cash infusion for rent utilities. Also, I want you to get money for the nonprofits if you haven't. What I really want you to do is try to get your money as far into the future as possible. So everyone on my graphics, even Nisi, even Art Sullivan, even Mark, I want you to get money into 2022 as far as you can go. If the place where that paid your money before is stopped, then reach out to the nonprofits. Go further. I want you to get as many items. Also, if you need holiday gifts, reach out to Salvation Army starting now because they start doing those in late September, early October. Then FIS stimulus. That's out for a vote later this year, not just yet. That will raise your benefits up if you're on SSI and SSDI. And then fourth stimulus. Advocate. Call Omar. Call AOC. Call Jayalapal. Advocate on the House side as much as the Senate side. If you've made one phone call, then call the House members and advocate. As one viewer said, I felt so good by advocating. Do it again by calling over to the House side. Because the more you advocate, the more they hear. They're writing the final pages, which could be released as early as this week. And guess what? As they're writing, they're meeting. As they're meeting, they're talking potentially about you. Have you been getting those phone calls, Liz? I have, Bernie. I've been getting my staffers are getting incredible, impassioned phone calls. One woman, this thing. One man, this happened to him. They're explaining really their situation. I've been getting the same phone calls, very impassioned phone calls. We have to do this. They resonate when you tell why you need it. And the more they hear the story, the more they tell one another, saying, we're getting these calls, we need to do it. That's advocacy. In December 2020, no one wanted to give you a stimulus check. I came up with the idea to put a stimulus check in the CR. CR for stimulus. I had you make the push. With 139 million views on this channel in a little bit over a year, 400,000 subscribers, 300,000 social media followers, we made the push and we made history. We got that $600 second stimulus check. 8 weeks ago was a different situation now for fourth stimulus than it is today. You need to push. Push. I applaud Margaret and that wonderful other viewers whose name I'm withholding for really sharing me incredible details of their advocacy. Advocate, because that is where we get in life. These elected officials were elected to advocate, and the more you advocate for them, the more they applaud you as well. And I'll look forward to seeing you next on Overnight's Crypto, currently playing on this channel. Then we go into our full slot of programming tonight. Watch all those shows. You know, those shows are very, very helpful because they explain how to track a stimulus check when it's sent out, how sometimes checks land sooner than later. Very, very helpful videos. Shows at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11:30. And with that, thank you for joining me, and thank you for staying to the very end, and subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, too, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP. The link is under the video, and don't forget to sign up for the LA Alerts so you do not miss alert when a breaking world of news exclusive story comes from this channel. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful evening, and stay with Lalate for more.